the first thing that the NBA did was change the media rules, and the rules, the original rules became they were closing the locker room pregame and postgame, and they wanted reporters to stay at least 6 to 8 feet away from the players. Now, this was a clear move to protect the players. Everybody else that was allowed to be in the locker room was considered essential. So there weren't any other people that were kicked out. But I think the main takeaway from that was that they wanted to make sure that exactly this didn't happen. There was a huge concern that if a player tests positive, if there's an outbreak, maybe they're forced to shut down, and maybe it's an even longer hiatus than what we think is going to happen.
And I think too, Tania, the clock was ticking on this in terms of if somebody was going to get it, and every step that they discussed along the way was really just kind of ways to try to just move that ball as far away from today as possible. It might be better for the league that they were able to address it now instead of a month from now. It might end up saving them a season at some point if the suspension ends, if the virus is controlled to enough extent where they can play games again. Had this been a week into the playoffs, I think the season's just ends.
I know from the Lakers' perspective, they asked all of their employees to work from home, and they didn't schedule anything for the players. There was some, if they wanted to come in for treatment, they could do that.
And that's the same for the Clippers, and for most of the teams that I've talked to have kind of had that sort of, we want you to go home if you can go home. And if players need to come in for treatment, if you want to get shots up, we'll have that here for you. But from an organized standpoint, we're shutting things down.
And one thing that's also worth remembering is that a lot of people work at Staples Center on game nights. They aren't full-time positions often. These are people that often can't afford to come to the games that they work at. But it's a source of income for them. It's something that they need.
Yeah.
And what's being reported right now is that they're going to reassess. The NBA is going to reassess in 30 days. There are some teams that have been looking to figure out how they can keep paying these employees.
Dallas and Cleveland, pretty notably.
Dallas and Cleveland announced that. It's unclear what the Lakers or Clippers are going to do, but they are people that will be severely impacted by this if they aren't able to continue to get their paychecks.
From a basketball standpoint, Tania, how disappointing do you think this will be for these two teams? These are teams that, mortgaged their futures for a chance to win a title now.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing because people don't want to undersell, obviously, how important it is for society, right? And for the overall health of the public. You also kind of hear it in their voices, though, that it's like, man, people want to be out there playing basketball, especially the people who are competing at a super high level right now.
Yeah.
And that's a real blow, especially in this city when it just seemed like we were headed for this Lakers-Clippers collision course.
And we still could be. I mean, they've postponed things. I mean, this is the postponement is going to take us to the end of what would have been the regular season. That doesn't mean they're not going to pick things up, find a way to... it will probably have to be restructured, but that doesn't mean that they won't figure that out. I mean, also I thought about those teams that are fighting for the 8th seed.
Yep.
What if they decide this is it. The standings as they are now, that's what we're going with.
Yep.
That'll be tough for a lot of those teams.
If play restarts at some point, credit to the NBA for always being a league that's willing to try stuff and to be innovative and to do different things. We saw it over All-Star Weekend with the Elam ending, where they adjusted the score and played to a target score, and it was a huge success after a lot of guffawing, I think would be it. Maybe it's a single elimination tournament for the 8th seed. Among the teams that are close, maybe
they've talked about a playing game.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be an opportunity to.
Maybe it's 3 and 5 game series early in the playoffs to condense the schedule. It could be a lot of different things to assess that. I think one thing though, from an owner's perspective, that needs to be mentioned, and we heard Rick Welts say this in Golden State a few days ago. Every day these doors are shut, at least at Chase Center. The Golden State Warriors lose multi-millions of dollars every single day.
And I mean, that's something that a lot of, I talked to Jared Dudley a few days ago, and he was, when we talked about the fans and whether the games would still be played without fans, he brought up the basketball-related income, the owner's revenue, and that's not something that's not something that sits great with the public when they're thinking about their own health.
But it also trickles down all over the league, though, too, in all such a way. I mean, you said it, basketball-related income. You're right. Like, we're talking about millionaires. We're talking millionaires and billionaires here. But you're right. That salary cap, like, if the salary cap, which was already coming in below projections because of the issues the league had with China. You know, that's nothing. What's going to happen to TV income? What about all the ads people have sold and all of this stuff? Like, this was, I think, again, why the NBA, I mean, they acted quickly when they had to, but I think this is why these pro sports leagues sort of have inched towards these things, because, you know, this is sort of a nuclear option in a lot of ways, right? Like, because you are closing the books on your revenue. This is a massive money loser. The NBA will lose hundreds of $millions by not playing basketball for these 30 days. We'll have to answer their TV and advertising partners from a business standpoint. I mean, you were going to see this on all sorts of aspects of societal life if things kind of tighten down the way it seems like they're going to. But you know, the NBA is going to look very different financially next year.
It's been a very strange year. That's all from us. I'm Tania Ganguli,
Dan,
Lakers reporter.
Dan Wokie, hopefully we're back here for basketball at some point.